Hey everyone, it's Kerryk. So today's message is about your awakening and the two choices that you have when you awaken. And what is awakening? It's the moment that you realize that you were living in a place that we call the false matrix. The false matrix or the inverted matrix, these are things, terminologies you may hear from time to time. And what they're referring to is a controlled reality, almost like an experiment, like a little room, a cordoned off room. Now, some people would refer to this room like a jail cell, and other people would refer to this room as a simulated reality. However you see it, however you see the false matrix, there are essentially two choices that you have, two primary options that you have upon awakening. The first one is to look at all of the illusion, to look at all of the lies, and to blame the people who initiated the false matrix, the people who carried out the operations of the false matrix. So these can be leaders, these can be friends, these can be community members, these can be neighbors or people that you know that perpetuate that which is illusory. And people that perpetuate the illusion, they'll do it knowingly or unknowingly. But your first option that you might have is, as you recognize, as you come into awakening, blame. It's their fault. They need to be brought to justice. This person needs to be stopped. That person needs to be awakened. That person needs this. That person needs that. Can you see? Can you see how blame, which is nothing short of projection and disempowerment, can you see the irony that blame builds and reinforces the false matrix, even when the false matrix is crumbling, even when the false matrix is no more? Blame will uphold the fragments that stitch it together. So blaming is one choice. It's a choice. It's not a wrong choice. It's just a choice. There's another choice though. And the other choice is the moment you see that which was illusory, that which was the lie, that which was the false reality, to purify that within you that still aligns to it, that within you that still corresponds, correlates, and is in some kind of congruence with that false matrix. And you think about it, you were born to that reality. It appeared normal to you because it was the only reality you remembered. So everything in you was wired to see that as normal. And that process of deconstruction within yourself is the purification of the false matrix. It's the moments when you turn to love instead of judgment. It's the moments when you turn within instead of without. It's the moments where you choose acceptance instead of blame. And please note that acceptance is not apathy, and acceptance is not condoning. Acceptance is merely seeing what is without blame, without judgment, and with neutrality. The more neutrality you can conjure within yourself, so that neutrality that I'm talking about is the opposite of blame, is the opposite of judgment. And when we are removing judgment and blame, by default, we will remove shame. We will remove all the associated low frequency energies along with it. And we then start working with higher frequency options such as neutrality, such as acceptance. At that point, you begin to realize that you are bigger than the matrix ever was. At that point, you begin to realize that you are your own reality. And instead of pounding on the door of a false matrix and wanting to correct that false matrix outside of you, that the most powerful option you have is to become the ultimate light of the universe within this body, within this time, within this life, not waiting for anyone's permission, not waiting for anyone's approval, not waiting for anybody except yourself. To move yourself to a level of consciousness that maybe you hadn't even dreamed possible in this lifetime. Maybe you would have ascribed that level of consciousness to an angelic being, And you would have thought, well, I can't attain that level of consciousness in this lifetime, except you can if you unlimit or deconstruct the false matrix and reclaim the truth of who you are as an infinite creator being. At that point, you become the miracle. At that point, through your purification, you become an example and a catalyst for others to support them doing exactly what you're doing. So you become a wave. See how impactful we become when we purify that within ourselves? You become a wave. We become a wave of consciousness that ignites others and others and others. And we can do this wordlessly. We can do this silently. We can do this powerfully, in such a way that we are no longer dependent on the false matrix to bring us clarity and joy and truth and happiness. You don't find truth in an inverse reality. You become truth. And you become unconfined. You become liberated. You become free within yourself, for yourself. And by default, anything you do for yourself, you do for humanity too. So this is how you reach your higher purpose. This is how you attain these higher levels of consciousness. For those of you in my membership community known as the Plasma Light Tribe, this is where we operate. This is the frequency of personal sovereignty, personal responsibility that we're dialing into. I'm going to leave in the description box below all of the join details. If you feel called to explore that, then I'd love to see you there. And I would love to connect wing to wing, energy field to energy field, light to light, with all upon our planet that is awakening and finding themselves right now outside that confined reality, outside of the confine of the false matrix, in true reality, in this place of liberation and freedom and space. And what do you do with space? You explore and you expand into it. Lots of love, everybody. I'm going to leave a link over here for a recent explanation that I did on the current December energies. I think you'll enjoy it. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now.